Welcome back to Good Morning Europe. Well, today is World Water Day, with this year's theme focusing on leaving no one behind. With billions of people across the world still living without access to safe water, the UN is aiming to ensure availability and sustainable management of water for all by 2030 as part of its Sustainable Development Goals. Well, I'm joined now from Geneva by Amanda Loeffen, Director General of WaterLex. Well, good morning to you and thank you so much for joining us on the programme. So what is WaterLex doing to mark World Water Day?
We have a series of events working through with UN Water and their task force and campaign. We have online webinars. We had an event earlier this week with Michelle Bachelet introducing the topic from the Human Rights Commission. So we have a series of events both today and next week and all over the world.
Okay, so the UN is presenting this World Water Day under the theme of no one should be left behind. So who is being left behind when it comes to access to water?
There are more than 2 billion people who don't have access to clean and safe water. There's a distinction between water and water that's safe to drink, and it's a huge problem for health and for quality of life, and nearly 500,000 children die every year from just waterborne diseases related to contaminated water. So it's a big problem. It's important to realise that water is a human right. It's something that is a basic need that everybody should have, and it's a real problem for people not just in remote rural areas but also marginalised people in the middle of urban cities and our own developed countries as well, because there are people who just don't get looked after.
Well, access to clean water is one of the Sustainable Development Goals to be achieved by 2030. Is that achievable?
It's definitely a challenge. The problem is it's not just a case of throwing money at it, because the infrastructure does need to be developed, but it's not going to be sufficient, and there's not enough resources to do that in a very timely fashion. So I think we need a change of thinking, and we need to be starting to put people that are being left behind, the marginalised and the vulnerable, first in our thinking. So the policy approach needs to be a little bit more proactive in terms of who are the people that are being left behind, and it could be the women that are looking after the family and caring for them and collecting the water. That on average, women walk 6 kilometres a day in Africa and Asia to collect water, and that's not available water. I think the rule is it should be less than half an hour.
Okay, so a change of thinking is needed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Amanda Loeffen from WaterLex, for joining us on the programme.